We're on.
Already?
So today is November 7th, beginning of November. We want to welcome a new member today. And basically we're only three of us. So Carol and Phil, have you heard from Phil, by the way?
I haven't heard from
I
lately.
gotta ping him. I haven't heard from like 3 months. So I gotta ping Phil to find out where he's at. And what I'm gonna do is, we gotta see if he's gonna join up or if he wants to open up his spot also. So we gotta find that out, see if we can get another member also onto the team. Carol is not here tonight, but that's okay. I think we have notes from last time.
I have notes from September.
And we're not very formal, by the way.
I reprinted the notes from September, and we've already voted to approve these things, but I figured it would jog our memories as to what we were working on.
Perfect. Okay.
I didn't do any notes from the last meeting. So we don't need to approve these or anything.
No, I know. This is just more of a reminder right now.
Maybe we can just, if you want, just get down the list of things.
Yeah, let's do that. It's a good idea. So CMRPC, that's one of the things that's in motion right now. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Okay. So this is a group based out of Worcester that basically we have contracted to help us do a study to
Oh, yeah, Matt mentioned that.
basically gather information from like all the available businesses and lots and everything else in the town.
So what the town could use can support, like, hey,
Exactly.
you need a dry cleaner or dry cleaner would work here.
They're giving us the baseline, like what do you have and what's available, and then we have to figure out on top of that. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the latest contact with them was that
saw that email.
they're coming to the December meeting.
Well, they were supposed to be here. He wasn't able to make this one,
This one.
so he pushed it off to the first week in December.
Right.
Perfect. And we probably want to check in. You seem to be the point of contact for him right now, which is fine. I'm good with that, if you don't mind. Let's probably ping him maybe sometime middle of the month just to make sure he is going to come, because I know that's part of what I think we've just been missing sync-ups with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the deadline for his job is the end of December.
I was going to say he has to kind of come in December. The next one's Oktoberfest, so we ended up not doing anything for Oktoberfest. A little awareness for yourself. We last year held a booth, and we kind of just, we had some posters showing some possibilities coming from some old studies on, hey, this is what we could do to beautify downtown. This is what we could do for more parking and those types of things. It actually drew a bunch of attention. Paul and I worked with Phil for the majority of it. We didn't have a chance to do it this year just due to schedules and whatnot. So we actually still have money left over that we were going to spend that we haven't spent yet. Look, we filled an additional EDC member spot.
Yeah, that was a problem last month, but now it's not.
Well, we still have, no, actually.
Eric, right?
It's Eric, sorry, yes. I should have done name introductions, I apologize. I'm still going from work today, so I'm just trying to catch up. The Facebook page, so that was one thing. I think you were going to go and reach out to Dan.
I did, but I haven't
Heard back.
We haven't heard anything back
Okay.
from him yet.
So there was a
I'll ping him again.
former member, do you know Dan Humphrey by chance? Ripple Insurance, do you remember seeing them downtown?
Yes, yep.
So they moved out on further down 16 to the old, whatever, the water management building, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
He used to be on the EDC, so he was on for a short time. So we were just looking for an update. I maintain the Facebook page with everybody here, but I do most of the updates, if any. Are you a computer guy at all? A little bit, Facebook updates and stuff?
Yeah.
Basics. Sorry, I don't mean like hardcore programming here.
Yeah.
So I'll give you access to that, and you can feel free again to help out, whether it's posting comments or doing updates on there. So we haven't heard back from Dan. If you want to ping him again,
Yeah,
that'll probably work
I'll
out
do
well.
that. I'll do that. Yeah, I can run a computer, but I'm not a computer whiz kid like you are.
Yeah, no, it's my background.
I don't really have a Facebook
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't, then don't worry about it. So don't kill yourself and bring that up.
because of my job. I'd rather not have anything that
Oh.
they could look at or somebody posts about me or anything. Just,
Fair enough. I work for Dell EMC, so
Yeah.
I'm on the line anyways. Discuss possible Main Street sign. So where did we leave that one? Somebody was going to go talk to Bill, I think, right?
Yeah, and I haven't
That's fine.
done much.
So an update for people on camera as well as yourself. You know Rydell Street probably, right?
Yeah.
Familiar with that, behind the fire station and
Yep.
stuff?
Yep.
We were thinking of actually facilitating a sign on Route 16 to help point people in the direction to show those businesses, because there's no good signage there to tell people to go down this road for
You have
dance.
no
and-
idea there's businesses down there.
Exactly. So we don't know if we can actually spend any of our funds on it, or if this is just more of a facilitation that, hey, here's the thing, and the businesses will invest some money to get the signs put in there. But we started this the last meeting or the meeting before that, just to start discussing, is this something we want to do? It seems like almost a no-brainer. We just got to
Yeah.
get the things in motion to help drive that.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
had some initial contact with the fire department, police chief, and
I would think the businesses would want it.
So Carol actually reached out. She knows all the people down there. She
Yeah.
spoke to Dan Heaney and I think one or two others down there also. They seemed interested. So we just got to follow up to get that sign. And it's probably going to, again, take us, knowing how the town works, probably many months.
Yeah.
But we just got to keep on that and push on it a little bit.
But you know, one thing, maybe we can discuss about it, is what kind of a sign do you think we really want? I mean, I was thinking something that's not a huge sign, but something that's visible.
I'm thinking one of those with the two posts and the slats between it that kind of fits in with the you know, either wood base or something that doesn't stand out bright neon. It's something that
I
a
would
little
put
bit
it-
more old, you know, townish.
I would put it stone, kind of
If
the
we can
same,
afford it,
the
yes.
same color as the fire station.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be right there, so if it has the same, if the posts are the same color stone
That's
as
another
the
good idea.
fire station, then it would blend right in and it would make it seamless, so.
Yep, so I think we'll have to take these ideas when we actually can go get approval, and we'll have to help them cost it out, and we'll have a bunch of steps on this.
What do you think about the physical size? Maybe 3 feet?
With, well, so there's usually some
3 feet
standards
wide.
that I've seen out there for like best practices on signage.
Yeah, I was, where would you get those off? Google it
I
maybe,
Google
or?
it. Yeah, just Google it.
And see what-
I remember when I bought the street sign from, I have a cul-de-sac, so I bought the street sign for mine when I moved in for the first house. There was a whole bunch of websites that they just give you signs, like best practices on what to put out there. I don't think we need a street sign, but they had everything under the sun. So I could take that one on. I'll take that action item actually to go and figure out what type of sign, get a few options, document them, bring them in December.
Okay,
So I
gee,
can
that would
actually
be
come
great.
through with that one.
Yeah, I'd
Should take, it'll actually take me probably 20 minutes to Google it and make a list. So it won't be hard to come up with that.
like to say, initial verbal contact with fire, town, DPW, and
Well, some,
everybody seems, yeah.
was that a you thing? I don't remember. Was that you or Carol? I can't
I
remember.
did that.
Okay, that was a
Yeah.
you thing. Okay, perfect.
And I was pushing, what I was pushing for was just to get a permit for a sign for Douglas Animal Hospital.
That was the initial one.
Yeah,
That was the kickoff.
initial one.
I remember that, yeah.
But then we decided.
And then we had Dan Studios there, and then we have Dan Heaney's businesses are there, and it started snowballing.
Why don't we point people up there, and
Yeah.
transfer station, that could be listed on it too, you know?
Do they have a sign? I thought they have a sign.
They don't.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason they did. I don't go down that way that often. I stay on this side of town anyway.
Don't you go to the transfer?
I go to 140. No, actually, I don't. They pick up my stuff. So, okay, cool. So that's one action item I'll take on the
Yeah.
signs.
That would be good.
And I think that's the only list on here. Carol was going to talk to Dan Heaney. So, do you know who Dan is? Well, we keep mentioning his name. So, are you familiar with North Street in Gilboa?
Yes.
You know that
Stop
big
sign.
open lot that's there that used to have the sign that said coming in 2006? And how long you been in town for?
2015?
Okay, so you're a little on the newer side. So you know the big lot I'm talking about, though. It's in the corner there. The owner of that is, friends and acquaintances with a lot of people in town.
I mean, where all the political signs get put up.
That is the corner, yes, exactly. So he owns that entire thing, plus actually wrapping around the house that's actually sitting
Oh,
right there. He has investors in it with him, and we've always been interested. It's a great location. There's sewer, there's electric, there's water there. So we just want to try to figure out how to optimize that specific site and work with him on doing that. So when we mentioned Dan,
Yeah,
he also
okay.
owns the house. The office is back on Rydell, but
Rydell
he's also
Road.
over in that corner.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one thing that we've always thought about what to put there. He has some ideas. He was thinking about adult housing, like a 55 plus type housing. Obviously not as big of an impact on the schools, but it definitely would bring in some house type of taxes. We've always thought about like whether it's CVS's or whatnot to actually bring in there, but the businesses don't want to come right now because we don't have enough people. So you need the right level of people. We're sitting at about 9,300, was it last census,
Was it
or
that much?
8,900?
Yeah, I didn't think it was over
I
9
think
yet.
it's 8,000.
Is it 8,000?
It's in the 8,000 range. I don't
Under
think-
9, 8 to 9,
Yeah.
Eight
let's say.
change.
So you need about 10,000
Okay, yeah.
to actually get most of the businesses in, and you actually need the right amount of traffic where they do that. So I was actually thinking, as a side note, now that I'm spewing, we actually might want to do a traffic study for Wacky Dam Road and Route 16, maybe at both ends. That might be something we want to propose over to maybe the selectmen at some point. Because as we go and try to bring more business in, we're going to want to have those statistics and not have to have them run them on a continuous basis. So that might be something that we want to look into as a side note. Town manager
Well,
discussion.
CMRPC has done a traffic study, I think, or
Have they?
somebody did one.
You know what I'm talking about, where they
It's-
lay the thing down for like a week or a
Yeah.
month, and you literally collects how many cars go over it on a continuous basis.
Maybe it wasn't CMRPC, but.
Was it an old, like a 2008 study?
What's the business development?
They didn't do that last year, though, did they?
Maybe
when we
3
hired
years
them?
ago or something like
Okay.
that.
Who's responsible for like the highway signage?
DPW.
Who says, food or gas or, those signs, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, there's the state signs that are on 146,
Right.
and then there's the Douglas, DPW signs.
No, I would think
It's
something
probably
on
state.
146, once business, if you develop your
Exact-
businesses, you want to be able to point them and say,
That's working with the state.
okay.
Yeah. Which I don't even know those processes.
Hey, Senator Fatman's right over there, we can go ask him.
Fair enough. I think they're a little busy right now to take that one.
Hey, did you see what's on their agenda, by the
I
way?
actually didn't look. I ran in here. Literally, I ran in here.
We're
Quite
meeting with the
interesting.
DCR on the State Forest.
Yeah.
State Forest
what
Trust Fund.
About.
State Forest Trust Fund.
And what's that mean? I mean, I know.
I don't know what it
Is that where they're going to up our revenue that we're going to get from them? Because that would be nice.
I mean, they
Or
only,
is it how they're going to cut more?
our income from the state is like
So,
$200,000.
It's below what it should be.
something like
It's
that.
way below what it should be.
I mean, if we had some industry up there, we'd get,
It's not even that. They actually, the whole backstory I know of is that they're actually shortcutting us right now based on past, funding and whatever.
Now, can you
mechanisms.
develop industries around the state forest?
You can if you have owned property, and then you still need conservation to actually.
What I mean is industries that have to do with state forest, so.
Adventure things.
Yes, exactly, yes.
You're going to come back to where we were last year. So we had a conversation about theming the town. Right, remember this that we started with the tree? I contacted the treetop guys to bring them in from Maine or New Hampshire.
zipline people.
The zipline people. We
Trail
actually were
ride.
starting to go down that road, which is maybe it might be good to brand the town at some point, give us a personality. And we
Because
thought
if the
about the
state's-
outdoors thing.
Right, if the state's not adequately reimbursing us for the state forest, and we can't turn around and say, okay, well, if you're not gonna pay us, then we're gonna use the forest for industrial use or whatever, because they're gonna say you can't touch it.
Well, you can't, not industrial use, but
No,
to your
no,
point,
my point being, if they're not gonna pay us for it, and we don't have that option to turn it into something else, then
Right.
we should at least try and get some type of industry in there to make money off the forest itself.
We've had that conversation. I contacted, there was this place called Monkey something. I forgot the last name, the last part of it. It was based out of New Hampshire, Maine. They literally did zip line type adventure theme parks. And we had discussed, hey, there's a bunch of acreage lots that are just, we're woods. So why not bring them down? I discussed it, they weren't really interested at the end of the day. They took a drive through and it kind of died on the vine.
Now, is that, I'm sure there's tons of liability involved because it's a state-owned facility.
They wouldn't be
Right.
doing it in the state forest.
Oh, okay.
They would be doing it, we would have had to find a lot somewhere in Douglas they would have been able to set up on. But then you actually theme the town, which is we have Breezy Acres, right, which are the slides, and you have Wallem Lake, and then you have this, and all of a sudden you have enough attractions that are outdoor oriented that you can
Right.
start to build a theme around it.
Right.
That was kind of our original thought, I think is kind of where you were heading with that.
Right, yeah.
I think with the state forest, though, it's state-owned land, and it's been acquired for environmental purposes,
To maintain.
and it can't be used for
Not allowed to put anything on it.
anything ever in perpetuity unless there's an act
But
of
can you put
state
foot
Congress.
traffic through it?
Well, there are trails.
Right.
Yeah, so there's trails, no snowmobiles, you can do horses. There's certain limitations they let through it.
Okay.
And it connects down to Wallem Lake, which you're probably familiar then with all the traffic Wallem Lake gets during the summer. That's another revenue stream problem that we have with the state. So, yeah, that's not our most interesting thing that we have, just to kind of bring you up to speed on the discussion, is probably the long-term pine
Right.
lot thing, which you're probably familiar with. But even that right now is on the back burner until Pine has actually done mining
Right.
the property.
Because it had died down for a little bit, and then the prices went back up, and so Pine started pulling everything.
And
again.
well, they also, what they ended up getting is from the state, they actually had to get a special mining license that finally got approved. I think it was the beginning of this year, was it? Or when did Carol tell us?
The middle of the year, I think.
Carol used to
It's
own it,
been
she
a
sold
while.
that, and then she has the whole history on that. So, long
Pine?
story, she owned that actual property
Oh, okay.
before Pine. She sold it to Pine. So she has a lot of the history on it. But long story short, I actually reached out to a few retailers about that site. One of them was IKEA that I actually started talking to very, very briefly, which was like, hey, would you ever be interested type of a thing. And they said, when you're ready, let us know. And they kind of just pushed me off for a little while. But it's out there. Whenever Pine says they're ready to go, I think we're ready to work
I
with the
think-
selectmen.
If you got a store like that, because I know people from Rhode Island go to the IKEAs that are all the way.
Well, there's the Stoughton one, and
Right.
there's the New London, not New London, sorry.
Right, and so
yeah.
they'll go, I grew up in North Smithfield, so I know that, they would go to Stoughton. So if you had it closer, you would pull people from Providence, you would pull people from
You
all
need a
of Rhode
mega
Island.
store like that, that's not another Home Depot, another Walmart,
Right.
another Target. You need something that will probably go and draw some traffic. And that's
is-
where we were
and
thinking.
is unique, yeah.
An anchor store, basically.
So Pine, so the Shell is Uxbridge, but Pine is Douglas?
Yes, so there's that exact line, like it wraps around the Shell station. And then what happens is it
okay.
kind of wraps up 146 border, and then part of the Pine lot actually goes into North, not lot Pine, but part of the open area goes into Northbridge and Sutton. So when you go up North Street, it kind of has like, there's a bunch of properties that we'd have to go and combine together from different owners. Pine is just a piece of
Right.
the equation to get through.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 owners that, some of them are willing to sell, some aren't. And Pine is one of the ones right now who doesn't want to sell. I think he will in the future. when-
Again, this is a future
it's
discussion,
right.
and we're just, and that will
When he runs out of
probably,
material and the lot is useless.
basically, then he'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's probably when this town can probably get that right level of, industry income or commercial / retail. We hate to say have to sit and wait a little bit for that big one. So now, but we gotta keep watching it. You can't just say, oh, it's gonna come someday and not keep poking on them and talking to Pine and I think pushing on it. But,
Well, even, if you're talking about a massive store there, then you would develop all the way down, right? And so
what do you mean all the way down?
you would,
Down Lackey?
yeah, you would want to continue to develop down Lackey.
We're not gonna
but
kill
then
the
that
mill.
That would, right, because then that would be a border.
Well,
against-
actually, the way it would be done most likely is that property actually goes up towards Sutton. So we'd be running the 146 border up a solid like 30 to 50 acres. So you wouldn't have to build all the way down Lackey Dam.
Right, but if you're putting something on the corner of North and Gilboa, right?
Well, that's another, so that's
then
another
you-
spot.
Right, so then you would be drawing traffic here, but then you would want also that traffic to continue and go to downtown, but the North Street Bridge isn't gonna handle that, so.
Oh, God, no. No. Well,
So-
if that actually comes
That would-
about,
right,
the
that's-
town will probably have enough money to go and actually fix.
Right, it
North
would
Street
be
Bridge
way
at
in the
that point.
future, but
Yeah.
that whole entrance into downtown needs to be more streamlined
You
and
got it.
open.
So there's a lot of implications to this plan, and that's why this is the long game. We're gonna have to play on it. Interestingly enough, as a side note, because we're just all over right now, which I think is not a bad thing, you emailed out the Cumberland Farms discussion. I went to them, talked to them. They are corporate owned, not franchised, which I didn't know. So I reached out to corporate, and I got the woman's name that actually handles all real estate. And I've been talking to her email. She's going to give me a call. I think it's going to be like Friday or something about possibilities. Now, what I did learn is there is a new Cumberland Farms up in Northbridge, apparently all the way up 122. That is one of the new models. They are looking to do something down in the Uxbridge-ish area. That does not preclude probably putting even another one in Douglas.
Because there's one in North Smithfield too. Have you been in one of them?
I've been a bunch of them. Yeah, they're beautiful. I go out towards Hopkinton every day. My wife's from Rhode
okay.
Island, but I go to Hopkinton for work, and there's one they put on Route 16 out there also.
They're incredible.
And yeah, they're nice. Now the thing that we have to think about is where you would put it. And I already, knowing all the sites that Paul and I and others have gone through, is we have 3 locations that we can propose to them that would probably make sense. One is that corner lot. Now the only problem with that corner lot is you're stealing from Shell. but you'd have a new store versus an old store, which they could deal with it.
Shell is Uxbridge, right?
Shell is Uxbridge. So I wouldn't care. It's if they would care, right? How close do they want to be? Luckily, the Cumbies right now in Uxbridge is actually on top of the Mobile, which is like right there at the corner. Anyways, that's one potential with the highest traffic. Second potential is down on Route 16. Down, I live more on Monroe, basically.
Yep.
We have a bunch of properties heading into Uxbridge that way.
Yep.
Now, if you are moving the Cumberland Farms right down Route 16, it's not bad to shift it just down, a
Right.
few miles down the road.
On the other side of
And then you're
146
catching people going down Route 16 traffic.
Right.
The third way is actually going to be on the Webster Route 16 area, which you'd be competing with the Mobile out
Right.
out that way. But we do actually have property out that way available also. I think it was about 14 acres.
I think it's 11, but
11,
somewhere's around
way
there, yeah.
more than enough that they'd need to be
Yeah.
able to put a Cumberland Farms out on that way. So when the woman gets back to you, I'm gonna propose those 3 sites to her and just say, hey, what are you thinking? Now, I already thought through the Dan Heaney conversation, which is basically, they have a large property. That corner, North Street, Gilboa, that's more than a Cumberland Farms. That's a
Right.
Cumberland Farms plus like 2 or 3 other stores.
Restaurants.
Whatever. So
Dentists or
Dan would
something
have to
like that.
probably make his money out of the Cumberland Farms, and then it would just be extra to divide up the lot for himself. They'd have to think about how they want to go about that. But I already thank you for that because I initiated that thought process. So
Yeah, I mean, you would just make it a little
now
like a little complex.
the only negative that I thought about is we'd be impacting Sitco in the middle of town, no matter what
Right.
we do. So there is the negative and positive side,
Right.
which is if it's on that North Street Gilboa area, that's really close to Sitco downtown, right? And then I guess I
Right.
think
And
they're
that
doing
is
okay.
That is a town business.
That's a staple
And-
for the town.
Right, and so you don't want to affect that business.
Which is why I was thinking the best viable option for me is either the 2 ends of 16 right now
Right.
because it's not quite as close.
And you also have that other one across the street from the firehouse, right?
And then you have the other staple of town is the ice cream lady in the whatever the name of that
Dunkin'
place
Donuts
is.
is in there. Oh,
Yeah.
there has been a little bit of activity in the field across from that.
You'd mentioned that actually, yeah.
I happen to
Where the
see-
old Dunkin', where they were going to put a Dunkin'
They were
in.
going to put a Dunkin' in there, but just recently, there's been a bunch of cars parked there, a lot of people with
I
suits
thought that was
on.
all,
I don't know what they're doing.
Floodplains and, I thought you couldn't build over there because I remember a discussion with Matt about buying fuel tanks for the town. And I said, can we
know.
just put them over near the fire station? He said, no. And Carol said, no, it's all wet over there, so.
I don't remember hearing that, but again, I don't.
Maybe it's just for
Maybe for
petroleum
fuel,
use.
I was going to say
Yeah.
fuel has such limitations on it that I wouldn't say put a gas station right there, to your point. But a Dunkin' Donuts shouldn't impact that as
Yeah,
much.
no, it's a nice little spot, nice field, be good for a business, that one we're looking at.
So Cumberland Farms right now seems to, after your discussion, jumped up to the list for me. Maybe short term we can. The nice thing is if we can just get one business in town that's new and looks new and brings that feeling of wow, you're actually bringing a business into town. It doesn't have to be anything else, just something. And plus, the nice thing is they're not stuck at the 10,000 person limitation like a CVS or a Walmart or somebody else would be. So I don't know if we have a real shot or not, but I'm gonna keep it going.
I think it's gonna be hard for Douglas to get over that 10,000 hump.
Yeah, that's why I think our goal is to. The only thing is that Pine thing has to break at some point because they won't have a 10,000 limitation. They're right on 146.
Right.
So that's just like I'm building another Shops at Blackstone.
Right.
Go.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yep,
yeah.
the movie theater.
And that was part of actually the
office
other thing that
building.
kicked it off is I'm actually friends with the development construction managers that built Shops at Blackstone and the one down in Woonsocket or North Smithfield, the
Eddie Dowling
Walmart,
Village.
Lowe's, and all that. Yeah, exactly. So those guys have been giving me a little advice in the back end in the past to actually say this is who you're gonna have to talk to. You're gonna have to go to these things. You're gonna have to do this. So I've just been trying to learn. So because I don't know anything about that world. I'm not a real estate guy. I'm a computer guy. So.
You know, there's been some things happening too, is up here on 16 Davis Street, not far from the line, there's been some excavation up the hill. I don't know if you've seen that, looks
I
like
haven't.
the road's been,
Keep in mind, I literally go out Monroe Street to 16, and that's my daily commute. So I don't see the town.
What
yet.
about all those businesses near the church that's over there, but across from them and
You mean the old Jehovah's Witness, the River Church? Not
Is
the,
that not?
the one down
currently-
16?
Yeah, is that not currently being used?
So who's in there right now?
The river is in there.
The River Church, but I know for a fact that Precious Ones, my daughter used to go there as the day school, the daycare that moved down to Uxbridge on Route 16. They've actually been in talks about actually being in there permanently or something. I don't know the specifics.
So
of
I
it.
didn't mean that building, I meant like across from them and all those businesses.
They're fairly filled. They're in there. Yeah, those businesses are filled.
And then the
It's
old
when you come,
CrossFit.
so it's when you come back down towards me that you have the old DNR roofing with the CrossFit in the back.
Yeah.
There's property available with the old GBI sign right there. There's now 2 properties available right there, which is on some real estate agents posted. And then on the corner of Monroe, there's the open sand lot that was perked some time ago and they never did anything
So who
with it.
owns that old like CrossFit building in like?
That one I don't know. And there's also the
Granutech building.
Granutech, which is they're there, but they're not there. I tried getting them
No.
again. I couldn't get them.
I don't know the temperature for any potential town-owned businesses.
Well, we don't own a lot of property ourselves.
Right, so you take that place, right, the old
Granutech?
CrossFit.
Oh, the old CrossFit. Yep.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are disenfranchised with the HAB, and so you
Okay.
could put potentially batting cages and stuff like that indoors in there, and I guarantee you, because the HAB doesn't have that type of stuff, there aren't really indoor batting cages, and I can tell you that people are serious about their sports, and that would be full year-round. And so if the town was ever inclined to purchase the lot and support the business itself, but then
Interesting.
along with
I don't
it,
think
you
this
come
town
the
would.
liability.
I was going to say
Right.
this town with the financials and stuff. I don't know if we can even work into a budget at this point.
Right.
But it's a good idea, by the way.
Because I know, I help coach the softball team, and
Then you should get it together with some friends and go buy it.
Well, I mean, make the owners aware.
So I don't even know who the
Property.
owners are in that property at this point. I do see people in there once in a while. There's like some campers and some trucks that they keep back in the backside that are in and out sometimes.
Storage location.
I think that's what they're doing with it right now.
But it would be perfect for indoor, it would be perfect for indoor sports facility, or, you could expand it. There are a lot of other things, I don't know. You'd have to find some sort of machine shop that would potentially go in there too.
Well, you have the Granutech area. I think that would actually be probably more conducive to the machine shop because they already
Okay.
are a machine shop back there.
Alright.
I actually had another thought. It's just trending with all my friends is the whole microbrewery discussion. Purgatory just opened theirs. I don't know if you saw the Purgatory Brewing Company.
Over on Linwood Ave.
Yep, that opened.
Yeah.
They're supposedly doing they just opened and they're just the first opening night they sold out and they had to wait like a week just to go and redo all the beer and make more beer. That's you have with a Tree Works. You have all the different ones that are opening all around Charlton and Framingham and that's one that again we have enough. Even the old grammar school. I mean, there are things. It's kind of like, can you turn the grammar school into a brewery? I don't know, but there are those types of things that I think there are people looking for those properties. I was just thinking about that as an option.
Did we vote that they could sell that property? I don't remember. At the last town meeting, wasn't that up?
It's, the selectmen have custody of
They
it.
actually
Okay,
have custody
so
now.
we did-
They can do whatever they want with it.
We did pass that they could do it. I didn't remember if it passed or not when I was there.
There's no more restrictions for them to actually sell it off. The problem is no takers. Well, there was one taker, and they wanted to convert it into some type of condos or something, and
Is there remediation involved in it?
I don't know.
Is there hazardous,
I don't think there's no lead. Is there lead inside?
No,
There's
it's
no
a
lead
brick,
paint.
it's a brick building. And
any asbestos?
Are you sure there's no asbestos or lead in
Well,
that?
there might be asbestos.
Yeah, there's probably some cleanup that has to
There's
happen.
probably some inside work.
I mean, they actually got.
when was it used as a school last?
Oh,
Well, I would say
a while
it was.
ago.
We came to Douglas 30 years ago, and it had just closed. So
Yeah, it's
35
definitely
years maybe.
That's on. They actually.
If
had
it
to
was
put-
used as a school in
they
the
had to put a new-
1950s, there's asbestos.
They had to put a new roof
Yeah.
on it. Actually, about I want to say 20 years ago, was it?
I
Or-
would say 20 years ago.
They had because the roof was collapsing, so they actually had to semi-maintain it. But there's a cleanup job that has to happen in there. And the other thing is, people in town have been worried about the vicinity to the schools itself. So to put in something that's going to be a late night, drunk people hangout place might not be the best thing. But of course, schools aren't open then, so it's a discussion that would be interesting.
And I mean, it's, you don't really get a party crowd with
A brewery.
a microbrewery.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
connoisseurs more.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You get hipsters with beards and
which isn't a Douglas thing.
Birkenstocks.
But they can figure it out.
That's the crowd you get. You don't get, let's go and pound 40 beers, because that's not the point. The point is to enjoy the taste and uniqueness of the
But that's
alcohol.
another one of those things that I literally I thought about this when Purgatory opened like a month ago when they were announcing their opening. I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting move. We just don't have the same mills they have in Whitensville and Northbridge, obviously. But
Yeah, the only ones we had are used for
or
other
gone,
things.
or
Yeah.
were
Well, you
down.
got Schuster's, right, the place where Classic Envelope is.
Well, that's the only one left, right? There's no
Yeah.
other mills left anymore.
No, Haywood Landing's all,
Hayward is
Used to be a mill.
housing, and
Was that it?
Manchog is NARS. That was
There
it.
were only 2 mills.
No, there was the Axe. So Douglas Axe Company had. I think I saw the listing. Actually, just somebody posted it on Facebook. The updated map from 18 something,
So
and
what
there
was
were
that?
like 5 or 7 different axe mills that were made
Oh,
up
really?
all through downtown, but they were taken down, a lot of them.
they've either burned down or been taken down.
There was a big fire too that happened with a lot of the mills.
Oh,
So-
yeah, growing up in North Smithfield, there was always a mill in one socket that was on fire, and because a lot of them, all that oil from the machines was soaked into the floorboards. Once
Exactly.
it started, it was
Just get out.
basically let it go because it was so hot you couldn't risk going in there. Yeah, you
So-
couldn't. So
Yeah, if you look at our town flag, it's an axe, it's a picture of an axe. Back in the late 1700s, these guys started the hunts, started an axe
before
factory.
Schuster,
Yes.
Oh yeah, way before Schuster.
And so that went on for about 100
That was
years.
the original major business in town.
so they made axes.
was axes, Douglas
Yeah,
Axe
from
Company.
1800 to about 1910,
And then what did Schuster make?
woolen
Yeah,
items.
that was more in the early 1900s though, right?
Yeah, I think it was
Till-
late 1800s, early
Yeah.
1900s.
So it was almost after the axes
It was
is when
after.
that came in.
Because he took over some of those buildings.
When they did the Red Sox Yankees game, that was
1946.
during the Schuster timeframe.
Yes.
Yeah, that was not during the Axe Company timeframe. Yeah. So
Well,
that
he's
was
got his own
already-
water plant back there, right?
He might have his own
There are
pumping
some wells
station, but
back
I don't
there.
know. Yeah.
Carol could tell you.
I don't know, because I thought something, I thought he was trying to bid for the town to switch, or to use the facilities on the land, because he had a water treatment facility, because that mill would pull so much water that it actually needed its own.
Well, that's why. So they just got the growing plant, but
Yeah.
that's why I think he put the growing facility upstairs because that needs the water.
Right.
So, so that was
I don't
yeah.
know what's happening with that, if they've started to work on it, or...
I haven't seen extra traffic because of it, so I don't know.
No, it's kind of, and it's also at a standstill because the way, I don't know, do you watch a Board of Selectmen meeting?
I don't
Did
really
you
watch
hear-
it too often, but
sometimes.
yeah, sometimes.
Matt described the fact, and he told the finance committee that basically, in the contract that we signed, it says the town doesn't make any revenue until they start retail sales.
Oh, so you're years out before you actually even.
They're a wholesaler,
They're a wholesaler. You're never gonna make money off that.
unless they put in a retail distribution.
Distribution place.
Right. And then, so my question to Matt was, okay, do we get a percentage of the whole business or just the retail business? And he said, it's not clear. That's what we're still trying to find out. So yeah, basically, they can go there and they're not paying anything to the town because the way the contract was written or the way the law is written, whatever it was.
Well, there was something about the extra 100,000 that they were gonna do anyways. I think on
Right.
top of that separately.
Right, but
Yeah.
but the actual payments to the town and profit sharing doesn't start until they open
Retail, which isn't. That means they have to approve a retail to actually go and open.
Right, the retail, and the other question is, does the retail location need to be in Douglas, or does the retail location mean anywhere? So if they open a store in Boston, now they've started retail sales, now they start.
Under the same, but he can just open a different LLC and never have retail there, so it doesn't matter.
I thought it was just wholesale, they were growing it and then
all they
selling
were
it to...
planning on doing.
Which is
Selling
why
it to
we-
retailers.
Right, which is why we're not, potentially,
Gonna make
we're not
extra
gonna
money off
see
of it.
anything, yeah.
That's
off of
it.
it.
Besides the 100,000 a year
Right.
they were gonna put in.
Unless they sell it to
Well, they actually were discussing.
retailers, and
They
we
just
consider that the...
They just shot down in Uxbridge in their last vote the limitation on a retail medical marijuana facility there, and they actually are basically allowing somebody to propose one and come in with one. They didn't want to limit themselves.
I don't know why you would limit yourself.
It's a
to be honest
moneymaker.
with you. I mean, those people, I get kind of, I can, see where you're coming from if you're worried about the youth of the town, but those guys aren't gonna risk their license and all those millions
No.
of dollars of that stuff
For
falling
medical.
into the wrong
Yeah,
hands.
of course.
It's,
We have other drug
it's not-
problems in these towns anyways, that's not marijuana at this point, so.
Right. It's not gonna, they're not gonna risk it. It's too much money on the table for them, and
Okay.
so,
I mean, things in motion right now, the Cumberlands was the last thing I have, so we use this meeting sometimes just to go and toss ideas around, hopefully spark something. Sometimes we take action items out of it to go talk to, whether it's Bill Cundiff or DPW, or to go actually follow up with the business. We don't have any solidified, hey, here's the thing, we're helping them through the permitting process. We want to get to that point. We were open to businesses to come and talk to us, and we don't have a lot of businesses in town that actually do that. So that's kind of where we're at now as a team, is we're trying to figure out our committee. We're trying to figure out how to get more people to come to us.
Yeah, I think the fact that we still are an active committee is good. So
Stay
a lot of
alive.
towns don't have an economic development.
Exactly.
commission. But if a business is trying to come in, or if a business is trying to expand, or trying to put more machines in.
And it's hearsay. Like literally, it's just somebody saying,
I
hey,
would-
this, just like you do with Cumberland Farms, hey, this, and let's jump on it. That's where we're
I mean,
at.
if a business is trying to come in or expand or make changes or something, I think we should support them, go to the selectmen's meetings or the planning board meetings when they're going for their permits. If they do have trouble with any of these boards, we should help them through it,
yeah. I also don't, I mean, what do we do for advertising?
In
is it
terms of
basically
the,
just,
in
like
terms
I
of
said,
EDC
hey,
or in general?
in terms of EDC, like trying to get businesses to town, is it basically like what I did? Hey, Cumberland Farms is looking, and then you have to go out and do it, or
So-
is there an actual
No.
mechanism to say, hey, Douglas is wide open to
So we
any
have a
ideas you
website.
got?
Our website has not been updated in a while, besides the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Facebook has been the only thing that I've actually invested time in advertising on, because it's actually probably one of the better forums right now to do it in. We have $1,000 budget a year that we've talked about doing. We talked about doing a spring one that fell through, and we were going to go do like a full page ad in some magazines, like, hey, here's Douglas, and here's some of our businesses. But some of those things honestly have fallen through, whether it's
I
Well,
think
do-
the
timing,
website
Like,
would be good.
when you talk about, the CMRPC, so they come back with the study, well then how does that,
you're asking the right question.
so then whose job is it? Is it Matt's job to go out and say, and try and get them, or is it our job, or is it both of our jobs?
Combination.
Or is there an actual firm or person that we could hire potentially to
So
do
we've
it?
been down that road with the WBDC. We had in here for 10 months, whatever it
We had
was.
several years, and
Well, years, but we just ended, the last one was a few months ago. That was probably, we
Yeah.
re-upped it. And their job was literally to start going out, socializing that Douglas is available, here are the properties available, come talk to us. And unfortunately, they had the scope of the project, when they actually scoped it out, was basically ended up really focusing on Pine, getting that to be viable. And they looked into a few other things that nothing ever came of it. So our use of outside consultants, just to be fairly blunt, is lackluster at best.
Right.
I
Well,
don't.
I mean, if they go out there trying to advertise something that you don't have in hand yet, it's not.
And that's exactly why
We're
we
not
don't
gonna
have.
have a lot of success.
you can't
No.
sell a place that somebody's not going to put on the market.
Right.
And that's
you
why.
can go here.
So the CMRPC is actually a great one, because this will be the final updated list. Like, here, this is what's available. This is the state of things. Now we can go pick
Yeah.
5. Like I was just saying, if we take North Street Gilboa, take something on 16 or 3 things on 16 that way and 2 on that way. Here's a list of our top 10. We have the list on the website. Unfortunately, honestly, our website does not draw. I looked at our statistics a month ago. Nobody goes to the website.
How about if they Google? Will they come up with, what do they come up with?
Google for our website is very weak, because we don't really do any SEO on our website, and that's not a me thing. That's a whoever runs our website. They're basically search engine optimization. Nobody's actually optimizing our website to have Google, crawl it on a continuous basis and get us up through the ranks. It costs money to do that. That's part of the problem. So the best way I've seen is a Facebook, Twitter type of assault on people. Just continuously get the Facebook ads out there. That's the biggest group that I've seen
Will
right now.
Google lead you to Facebook then, in that case?
It does, actually. If you
Business
Google
and
Douglas, if you
something like
Google
that.
Douglas EDC, actually Facebook comes up before our website.
Before the website does?
Yeah.
The website does come up though, right?
Yeah.
And it's the town's,
It does somewhere in there, yeah.
it's probably the town's
Why don't-
webpage.
We're kind of pushed back on the town's website, you know, in the background. We're just under committees or whatever.
Yes.
I would think that you would want it somewhere on that front page of, if you're interested in moving your business, Douglas, check out this link. You know, right on the front page.
And we can get them to, it's Mitch that runs it still, I think, right?
Mitch has been
Yeah.
running it, but I think he still does.
We can ask him
I
to
would
do something
put
like
it,
that.
you know, because you have all the announcements, right, and committee openings and this and that, all the goings on in town. It wouldn't be that hard
Might
just
not
to
be
put
bad.
somewhere right there. If you're interested in finding out business opportunities in Douglas.
So
click-
what we could
check this
do,
link
so
here.
what if we do this? And that's, I mean, this just exemplifies why I have to update Facebook and whatnot. If we get the link from the website to Facebook, it's easier to update Facebook anyways than the website. And then Dennis actually, I don't know if you probably haven't checked the Douglas EDC site, but Dennis actually started posting some things on the EDC
Dennis
page.
Bishop? Yeah.
Yeah, he just starts asking questions, and which is good, but he's poking business that way. But maybe the updates are not to go exemplify the damn pomfrets as much. We can do that still. But maybe when we get the CMRPC readout, we literally set up a few postings every 2 to 4 days. I'll spread them out and say, hey, another property available. Here's the real estate agent, yada, yada, yada. And maybe we can do that for a few weeks just to get some
Yeah.
things going on there. That's not a lot of work. That's where we can use CMRPC at that
Well, I
point.
like the idea, if you look at our website, on the town's list there, it is kind of good. I mean, it's got the 4 districts that we're pushing, and if there was some way to maybe
Direct it
direct people
right.
to that,
Yep.
would be helpful.
Because I didn't know you had a website until you just said it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe Mitch has got,
And
maybe we could propose.
Like I said, I've been all around the town's website and I've looked in and out.
Well, if you go to the EDC under committees, you will find it. It just links right there.
Right.
It looks like the rest of the website. It doesn't look different, except for we have a different bar on the left
Right.
that you can go to. That's
But
all.
my point being, it should be right out in front because that's one of our biggest priorities, or it should be, is attracting economic development in the town.
Mm-hmm.
So then it should be on the front page, nice and easy for you to find where you would go to find out about economic options in town.
So let's take this. I don't know how much I can do without a list of things to publish, which means I need CMRPC to give me a list. We could technically go and actually do Dan Heaney's property in North Tricoboa. Maybe I can email him with Carol and we can get a write-up to see how he would want to post it. Because he might have something in the works. I don't want to go to, if he is, like has a plan for it, I don't want to go say, hey, it's available, and he's like, no, it's not. Like, let's at least triple check with him that he would want to do this. But let's use him as the guinea pig because we know that one's actually a solid, valid one that's available.
Now, there are, oh gosh, what are they?
And it's just a redirect off of the Douglas website homepage to Facebook, and then from Facebook we can just go to the listings.
There's a dairy farm opening up too, right?
I don't know the status of that. So what we were told,
What I don't know is it
the
for
Monroe one.
Is it for the family or is it for
That's what we don't
the
know.
public?
So I don't know if I was told it was the same Mennonite family that
Right,
owns the
yeah.
thing on the street.
Right.
I
And
don't
so
know.
they sell on that street, right? They sell eggs.
They have the
and-
little farm thing there.
Right.
I don't know if their goal is to actually have a cow farm, like a true dairy milking farm,
I remember
or
there
if
was
they're
a
going
house
to do
over
like
there for
a
sale.
Wright's Dairy style. Awesome thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are they going to do Wright's in Douglas? I'll be like,
I can't.
that's awesome.
I can't go into rights. I can't because I end up spending.
Oh yeah, my
Way
wife
too
grew
much
up in North
money.
Providence, so she's very used to that.
I grew up in North Smithfield, so that was, you'd always treat yourself to pie pocketing.
But long story short, I don't know where they're at. Do you have any? How do you get your information about that one? Just from the group over there, or?
No, there was a house for sale across the street from where they're building the dairy farm.
Yeah.
And my wife and I.
I drive up Monroe every day. Yeah.
My wife and I are looking for houses, and so
Okay.
we happened to look at that, and we said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Oh, Mennonite family. The Mennonite family from town
Bought this
bought it,
thing.
and they're putting in a dairy farm." And, you know, it was like, okay, yeah, I don't really.
Well, they built the big red barn.
Right.
You don't want to smell manure for the rest of your life. Got it. And I'm right around the corner, unfortunately. But
I actually don't mind it because I like the smell of horses and cows. I don't mind manure. I really don't, but
it's better than what could have went there. Let's put
It
it
won't
like
be
that.
bad.
No, it's better than what could have went there.
but it would
country.
be nice if it was. But then, I don't know. Does that do they have some type of exemption, or is that a business?
So that's agriculture if they're only a dairy farm. This is where it gets tricky. Are they a dairy farm only? And if they are a dairy farm only on the Douglas portion of this, because there is the Uxbridge portion, then in the Douglas portion, agriculture is a discounted rate, right? When you go in with that they're actually going to officially open a right style thing, which I doubt that would probably be on
But
the
if
Douglas
they're a
side.
dairy farm and they sold the milk, is that different than?
I think that's still
A retail
agriculture.
outlet.
Well, are they selling it wholesale or retail? This goes back to, and by the way,
Right.
where are they selling it officially? Because if they sell it on the Uxbridge side where they
Okay.
built that big red barn, it won't
Yeah.
help us. That would
Okay.
only help Uxbridge. Are they using us just as pasture land, which I assume
Okay.
they would be? Then it's just agriculture to them.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'd have to figure that out when the time comes, and
Right.
because they built that big red barn, I can only imagine that's actually the wholesale / main milking thing for what they're going to do. So
How big is the barn?
it's a good sized barn.
Yeah.
It's a really good sized barn.
Like 100 animals or something like that?
Oh, no,
It's
not at all.
probably, it's
Um,
close to the size of Wright's barn.
Yeah, but Rice doesn't have 100 animals.
No, I know, I'm just
I'm
saying.
thinking
the barn
they
is
probably can,
similar.
in the barn, keep like 20 to 30 cows, I'm guessing, type of a thing.
But you don't, is that just, once again, is that just the milking station?
That I
So you
don't
move
know.
them
Are they
in,
going to build
or
a
is
big
that-
one out back that's where
that
they house
houses
them during
the
the winter?
animals,
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you don't need walls, really. Like, Wright's just has a roof, basically, in pens.
Well, they give off so much heat that once they're in there for the
Exactly,
winter,
just-
they're all
right,
set.
Just load it up with hay and they're fine.
So I don't know the answer. I mean, it might be interesting to stop and talk to them someday. I mean, I guess I could take that one on because I drive by them, but I've stopped and bought things from the stand. I just have never talked to them.
I know you go by Whittier Farms up there. They must have probably
Now, is Whittier
50 or
Douglas? No,
100.
that's Sutton, right?
Sutton.
That is Sutton officially. Because I know there's that house for sale right there at that border, the nice one. I just didn't know if they were over the line.
Yeah, they've got a nice little business up there.
So
Anyhow, I didn't
I think
realize that we had a business dairy farm going in.
I didn't know. Well, I don't know still what it is. I mean, I knew it was a dairy. Cliff told you, I think, or you or Carol, that it was going to be the Mennonites that bought it. The funny
Carol
thing
knew
is,
that.
you can't. I don't know how they're going to grow pasture land. It's all rock. It's rock and trees. They'd have to officially clear that, like hardcore clear it, grade it.
They've really done a number on that land.
Oh, I know they
on
destroyed
16.
that. I know.
No, but I mean, they cleared it I mean.
But they still have to have the ability to grow grass, which means they'd have to go and de-rock it or bring in loam and they'd have to do a lot of work to turn it into pasture land. That's all. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah.
I assume they have a plan. So.
I assume they didn't. That is
So-
big rocks they can't move.
No follow-ups from that, but good conversation on that. Sounds like I have the follow-up on the sign for you. And we're waiting on CMRPC for next
Yeah, we'll get in touch with them. We'll
time.
ping-
And Dan Heaney is, we'll use Dan Heaney as a guinea pig.
And I'll ping Clean Pomfret again.
So we're only been meeting, so we used to meet twice a month, just so you're aware. By this summer, we kind of was like, wow, that's often. And over the summer, it didn't make as much sense. We actually dropped it down recently with the holidays coming up to monthly. Depending on any activity, if we feel like we're getting busier, we're all probably okay bringing back up to twice a month. It just depends on, we have to have enough going on that it actually makes sense to meet twice a month.
Okay. While we're on the subject, Matt would like to attend our meetings,
Okay.
and so that.
So the timing won't work for him right now.
So it's difficult if we meet on Tuesdays.
We just discussed that, yeah.
He suggests Thursdays are better for him.
Ooh, we'll have to discuss that. It probably won't work for me, just work-wise, but we'll figure it out. Carol, being on the finance committee, also she ends up with during finance season,
Right.
as you know, has a problem during that time. So we talked about
Thursdays
maybe going to
would work
off
for me, I
weeks.
think.
Well, it's also maybe going to off weeks of the selectmen we could technically do. We discussed that, which was a Monday or
This
Tuesday.
has worked out good for us because we interface with the selectmen, but we haven't done that lately,
In a while.
you know?
So, by the way, we use email. That's our main way, obviously, which you're on the thread now. So just you got everybody's email addresses on the introduction email I sent you. Phil, who you haven't heard from yet, Carol, who you know, and Paul and myself. If you don't have that email, we can do it off camera and I'll give you all the information on that. Awesome. Any other things you want? We didn't have to vote anything today.
Nope, no minutes to vote on or anything.
Is there any, okay, then I guess do
I'll see if I can come up with some minutes for tonight's meeting.
you want to go and make a motion to close?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in
It's his first
favor?
official act.
Exactly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.